Basically, when we talk about African music, then we are talking about the music of the people of Africa. And if we should limit ourselves to Ghana, then we are talking about the music of the people of Ghana. And we talk about it as African music or Ghanaian indigenous music because it has survived all forms of Western acculturation and all that. So it stands on its own as a unique feature of our music. We have various forms of the traditional music. Actually, it is categorized into three main types. We have the incidental type of music, the recreational type of music, and the occasional type of music. Each of them is performed within its own context. Recreational music is for recreational purposes alone. Let's say a music like Apatampa, performed by the people of Cape Coast. It's just for entertainment, to entertain the youth and all that. And then Azwa, I think it's also a recreational type of music. And then if you take the occasional music, outside the occasion for which it is performed, you can't see its performance. Let's say during the Fetu Afashe of the people of Cape Coast, that is where you experience the Asafo music, Asafo dance, because it's in connection with the festival, the occasion. That is why Asafo is an occasional music. And then we talk about the incidental type of music, which normally is not planned as part of the main activity, but then as one engages in his or her own things, the music comes incidentally, so we call it incidental. Let's take the fishermen, for example, when they are hauling their net, they have their songs that they sing, they perform different types of music. That is a type of incidental music, like work songs, children game songs, and all that.
If you come to Ghana, we have various dances, and each dance has its own meaning. We have Azwa, Apatampa, Asafo, and so forth and so on. Each drum has its own use, and every dance has name and meaning. It means that dance has the right instrument to play with. If you go to Greater Accra region, they have Palago dance. The Palago dance, they have the Palago instrument. Each dance has its own instrument. You can't use Asafo drum rather to play fast agweko. That's from the Volta region. It's not accepted.
When we are playing Apatampa, we have to dance Apatampa dance. When we are playing Asafo, we have to dance after Asafo. But we don't name them. So if you want to dance, or if you are not drumming and you are dancing Asafo, I could see that hey, you are dancing Asafo. Once exists now is Asafo, Azwa, and somehow Dunkum and Ampe. And even Ampe, the indigenous members are not, they are dead. So it's the cultural group which carry those. If we didn't, then from our indigenous leaders, all the dancers will, vanish or collapse. So it's good to learn and maintain it.
We have Western influence because now we are trying to fix in Western idioms to make the music more acceptable to the people who are already affected by the Western way of living. Yeah, so we try to combine the two, and that is why now you listen to most of our indigenous dances and you have a lot of improvisation. important we embrace Western kind of styles into our music, because culture in itself is dynamic. It's not static. And so once we borrow some of these things into them, it only enhances its performance. But then tradition is also tradition. And for that matter, sometimes, if there need be, most of our traditional dances should be maintained as it is. But of course, for every rule there is an exception. There are some we can actually involve some of these Western styles into them. And then some others like Asafo, from those ones which are highly restricted to specific occasions for traditional purposes, we need not touch them. We should maintain them as it is, because it is that which makes us Africans and that which makes us Ghanaians.
Dances, you have war dances, you have funeral dances. Recreation dances, you can use Apatampa, Moses, and you can use Olomashi, you can use also Azwa. But before, you can't use Asafo for ceremonial dances, because Asafo is a war dance. Now that we are teaching in schools, there's slight different. It's not really rigorous and serious like before. But now that we have taken it at theory aspects, it has been, everyone can learn and it can bring some.
In the olden days, most of these drums that we have were seen as gods. We actually worship them. No ordinary person will see the master drum of the Asafo. And those who understand the language of the drum always knows what it says.
We have some dances that are attached to spiritual movements. Like the first dance we performed with the flag, it's called Asafo dance from Cape Coast, Central Region. If you notice very well, the dancer was possessed, but he was possessed. That's why the other guy with him was holding his waist. We have some dances that has no spiritual power attached to it. Like the Palogo dance is a celebration dance, so that one has no power, spiritual distance attached to it, but it's still traditional. In the olden days, instead of what we have now called the Army, Navy, the fire service and whatever, they have something we call Asafo companies. So before an Asafo company will go for a particular task, let's say for example a house is burning, what they do is they will first come out and perform this particular dance called Asafo dance to call the ancestors and to gain some spirit from the spirit world, to protect those who are going to have some power, so they can easily enter the building with no fear. They enter the fire and then come out safe because they have been protected by the ancestors. The flag we use to represent Ghana, that's the flag the man was using to dance. It represents the company he is from. Though this is a cultural group, our own flag is Korea Dance Theatre. We are not Asafo Company, but we are performing because it's our culture and we need to sustain our culture. That's why we performed.
For the talking drum, that is why we call it talking drum. It actually talks. In the olden days, and even now, it has been one of the instruments used as a form of communication. It talks to the people, it tells them what to do and all that. There's no occasion in Ghana now where you will not find a talking drum playing appellations, giving praises to important personalities, praising the chief and all that. And actually, those things he plays are actually words.
The tumpan is the two talking drums. And you can also use the master drum of Asafo. That's Asafo Chin, covered with white cloth. You can also use Asafo Chin to send a message to people. Yeah, and before Asafo people, they are the security, or they are the armies which guide the community. And we have some progress on Asafo talking drum, the same thing as tumpan. And then if somebody die, we have the way we say it on Asafo drum. If it is festival, you have to, you know how to. And you can also use dondo also as talking drum. And for instance, in Cape Coast here, we don't play drums in Wednesdays. So if anything happens, you can use bell to perform or to give some information.
Anything you say, the talking drum can play it. It will translate it and people will understand. It comes out like the way you pronounce a word. Yeah, so it comes with a particular tone, not just to play, it has a particular rhythm and tone that will let one understand what the drummer is trying to say.
Now we have various ways of communication. You have the radio stations, the television stations and all that. And so now there's a limitation to its use. But then for any important gathering, you can't do away with the talking drum. There has been an influence from some of these religious groups. Let's take Christianity, for instance. The impact has been so great that now Christians associate traditional drumming and dancing as fetish. and so parents are not encouraging their children to engage themselves in Ghanaian traditional music and dance just because of the mere belief that it is fetish. And because of that, it's actually killing traditional music. Now the young ones who are supposed to learn and then carry on with the tradition are no more learning. And so now you go to churches, pastors are preaching against traditional drumming and dancing. Not to talk about the mosque where they don't drum at all. But of course, there are a few exceptions. You go to the EP Church, Evangelical Presbyterian Church, where they have serious indigenous drumming and dances live in the church. And those are some of the ways we are trying to maintain those kind of traditional dances. You go to the African Faith Tabernacle Church, you go to the 12 Apostles Church, we have our traditional music still held in high esteem, and so it's not 100% gone. Just that the impact is so great negatively that gone are the days when you go to every community and you see a whole lot of children just playing with traditional dances. Now it's no more. The churches have engaged the kids in so many other religious activities rather than putting them into traditional drumming and dancing. So it's actually retarding the progress of the whole thing. But some churches are trying to now understand the need to maintain those things.
Religion also is part of why people are not all that interested, in the traditional drumming and dancing we have here. Because if someone is a Christian and the person goes to church all the time, I think when the church see the person dancing, as if they will say, hey, you are dancing for the gods, you are doing this, you are worshiping the God. Meanwhile, it's not like that, it's performing.
I think it should be completely separate. They should separate the traditional dancing and drumming from church. In fact, drumming and dancing in the church is out of biblical studies. It shouldn't be dance. You should sing with your voice. The words in that sings can change something in your brother or in your sister. If you pray that it's like drumming and some will be dancing, you won't pay attention to what I am trying to tell you in the song. So I think the best way to do is we should cancel everything and use our voice, our own voice to sing, and it's beautiful.
I am a Muslim, you understand? I came from a Muslim community. My house, they don't like me doing this, but I'm doing it because I know where I came from and I know what it means to me to try and protect my culture. There is lack of interest because of the way African drumming and dance have been promoted. People see those who perform African drumming and dances, as a negative character, understand, within a society. For instance, my boys, you can see some with Rasta. People see them as criminals. Meanwhile, they are not criminals. I can stand that. They are very, 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 very good performers. They perform what, Ghana has. It's time for us to let people know that what we are doing is not, it's not anything bad. It's what we're supposed to do to make Ghana go international. This is the only way we can promote Ghana. This is the best way to promote Ghana than going to America with a CD. A DJ will put the CD inside this and slot it, and you'll be miming. That's fake performing. That's fake. I see this as a very good way of promoting Ghanaian music and dance. I think what our ancestors left behind, I think we work very, very hard to sustain it.
High life actually is the fusion of our traditional music and that of Western music. And so you see most of our high life music dealing with Western instruments. You know, high life also came out of the bands. We used to call it the guitar band and all that. The name high life actually came about as a result of the people who were able to afford that kind of music. You know, those days when high life came, it was performed in the ballrooms and all that. And so the very few who were able to pay for the gate fee and enter, and then they had a special dressing before you could enter the concert rooms to enjoy high life music. And so the people who were not able to meet these demands, who were not able to buy such attire and then pay for the gate fee, then assume that, oh, in this case, then the people who are able to pay for this money and then buy this kind of them are kind of living high. And so the music gradually became high life.
Before we used guitar, only guitars. At that time there's no keyboard, so we use guitars and pray. During those days we have this big piano, so they can't carry it to performances. So they as for the guitar, and then their traditional small drums, that one they can take it along to.
Hip life is actually the fusion of high life and then hip hop. So you realize there's a great influence as far as Western music is concerned.
If you go to Musician Union of Ghana, you understand, they don't recognize the traditional drum and dance groups than those who go to the studio and record with computer, who doesn't know even what how to write a note. If you ask the person to write a music note, the person cannot do that because he's not a musician, he's just a performer. We perform, they write, we play it live, but they don't still recognize us because of the foreign influence. So I think it's really, really affecting our traditional music here in Ghana.
I would say 98% of the youth like all this kind of modern music, yeah. It's not that we don't like the traditional form of music, it's very good, but it's not good for studios. We have studios who does that, but for young studios and middle studio like this, we have to use this one so that our work is very fast. So I think computer is more easy and convenient. I'm more into hip-hop, hip life, and high life, reggae too, yeah. But I would say they're all doing well. Traditional music cannot be done away with. You know, it still lives. Traditional music, it still lives.
I think it's very, very important to protect what we have. Our tradition, our culture is very, very important to keep it alive for the next generation.
It wouldn't die, that one. No way. It can never die. Just that the consumption level is going down, but then we still have our own ways of maintaining it.